to mug you? What? What if your government tries to throw you in a can? What? You're gonna want a shotgun. Oh. What? An automatic rifle. And a lot of ammo. Gun? Yeah, gun.
We're all set to riot. Buy a gun before you lose your Second Amendment. Buy a gun. They'll burn you out like a Waco. They'll stick your ass in a camp. Jack-footed cops in riot gear, gonna kick your ass and laugh. The revolution is on its way. Better lock and load your AK. Buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. Buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. We're all set to riot. Buy a gun before you lose your Second Amendment. Buy a gun. They gave your money to the banksters. They stole your pension funds. It's time that we took to the streets. It's time we had our turn. A revolution is on its way, and the founding fathers would say, buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. Buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. You gotta riot in the streets. Revolution's not clean and neat. You gotta riot in the streets. Revolution's not clean and neat. You gotta drag 'em through the streets.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Tuesday. We are live. This is Primer Time on UCY.tv. My name is Michael. And what's going on, people?
Yeah, I'm Nicholas. It's good to be back.
So, what's going on with you, Nick?
I'll have figured out recently that getting old sucks. Your body has planned obsolescence at the age of 40 because, as soon as you hit 40, random things that used to work for you without thinking about them, now like to just stop working with no notice.
Your warranty is up, buddy.
Oh,
That's
definitely.
what it is.
Definitely.
That's what it is. You are a used car lot vehicle now.
Well, it was explained to me like this when I busted my Achilles tendon, that after having been in the Army for over 20 years, I'm like a good car that's got high miles but is in really, really, really good shape. But unfortunately, everything with high miles needs to be replaced.
I would, yeah. You know what? I would almost say that that's accurate. You're like a Jeep Cherokee, right? Like with that 4-liter in it. And that was a damn good. Everything on that truck is going to rust apart. Hell, the frame might break apart, but that engine going to keep on going.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the frame is what the problem was this weekend. Saturday, I went to the front door to actually accept a box from the post office, which we'll talk here in a little bit longer. And turning the handle, I had to torque my body to open the door and get it, get out of the way as I was opening it. And I felt just something slip in my back, and yeah, that was it. That one sent me back to the couch, hobbling and then laying over the arm of the couch just to try and relieve pressure on my back.
Yeah. I think you got other things going on there. I think that's part of that getting old. I don't think it's going to be fatal, and you're not going to need back surgery. But it's part of getting older. I'll tell you what. About 4 years ago, I slipped on my back porch, and I came down off of it was just 2 steps to the ground, right? And I came off that, and I didn't actually fall. I just stepped funny, and I torqued my back for about 3 months. I was all kind of twisted up until I finally just gave in and went to a chiropractor, and he yanked on me.
So I've been to chiropractors before, and I had to go for I had a couple issues with my neck over time. We got degenerative discs in my neck, but this one I was pretty worried about having a herniated disc, and so I did make the appointment. Went to the doctor yesterday, and she said, no, you just probably starting to have muscle spasms. You're at that right age.
Well, give me some narcotics, woman.
Yeah,
Jesus.
so she gave me not narcotics, but she gave me cyclobenzaprine.
Yeah, that's the generic name for Flexeril, is what that is.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
what, the dosage she gave me ain't doing nothing.
right. It's no good unless you take like half a bottle with that and like chug like a bunch of vodka.
Well, that's that. If I was into vodka, that probably wouldn't be a bad deal.
You can do it with rum too.
Oh, rum is good.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, we gotta let everybody know that we have a new segment called "How I Stopped Being Muslim."
okay, well let's enjoy our new segment because I was not aware of that.
So yeah, tonight for dinner, and in the hopes of remaining not Muslim, I made bacon wrapped pork loin.
Well, congratulations on your what do they call that? You are an apostate? No, you're not
Yes,
apostate.
I'm not an apostate because I was never in the club to begin with, but
Okay.
this is keeping me not Muslim, so I'm doing good either
Okay.
way.
Well, in honor of that, I had no idea, but I firmly embrace the concept. I went to Burger King and I had four double cheeseburgers, four bacon double cheeseburgers, which I shorn the bun from. So I not only got my load of pig, but I also combined cheese with meat, which not only pisses off the halal eaters, but it's a great big fuck you to the kosher crowd too.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
what up? Eat American.
There you go. Yeah, it was one of those last minute decisions. We had a pork loin that was in the fridge and was thawing out because we went to the old Sam's Club, and when you buy a pork loin there, you get both sides of the tenderloin there, and you was sitting thinking, I was like, how can I dress this up and make it snazzy? And then obviously bacon came to mind.
Yes, bacon. Well, yeah, I mean bacon or cheese. Bacon, cheese, or barbecue sauce. That's pretty much the answer right there.
I mean, short of like having cocktail sauce to dip it in, I thought that was a good stretch.
You know, I'm kind of like getting on a horseradish kick again every once in a while. But let's
Yeah, I cannot do that. I cannot
let's
do
not
that.
talk food anymore. Um, I went to a gun show over the weekend.
How'd you like it?
Tell you what, it was kind of eye opening. I'd been to that show before, but it's now under new management. So it's actually a completely different company running it at the same venue, and you could tell a difference in the management. It was very interesting. Or I shouldn't say you could tell a difference in the management because I had no idea about the management, but there was a different energy in the building from both the customers and the vendors. Um, this is a smaller show. It's probably about I'm going to say about 60 tables, and I would say that a good 80% of it is firearms or firearms related, or knives. Not necessarily like tools or old power tools or Tupperware or T-shirts with the wolf on it. The wolf howling at the moon or stuff like that. If it was books, it was firearms related books. It had manuals. So I kind of liked that. I think the people there that were selling the non-firearm stuff were holdovers from the other shows. I'd seen them there before, but maybe this guy is kind of pushing towards having more firearms people. There were vendors there that I hadn't seen before. Prices were fairly interesting. I kind of keep it abreast of what's going on in the marketplace price wise, from different retailers, and then I look at the private market and private market AR-15s are $900. Well, a brand new one is
Yeah,
400 bucks,
450, 500, something like that.
right? And I mean, if you have your own lower or something, you can get the kit for like 319.
Yeah. So
So
we got a question in chat from John. I wanted to know what the reason was there wasn't any show last week, and unfortunately, John, it was because had a death in the family, extended on my wife's side. She lost an aunt, so was not able to do the show last week. But those things happen from time to time.
Unfortunately, it happens on your side, on your family a little bit. Oh, geez, it's just a little too often for comfort, I think.
Well, I think she got to check her frequent dyer card because this one was free.
Oh man, yeah, yeah. At least there's no payment in the afterlife. Take those pennies and all that.
Yeah,
Uh,
this was an aunt who had been suffering long-term suffering from emphysema, and yeah, this it was probably for the best. She wasn't really doing all that hot, and unfortunately, there's always some family drama when you run into these things, and I'm just glad that that's over.
yeah, yeah. That's the best part of this. Time to move on. Hey, so at this show, looking at the AR-15s, I went with a friend of mine. Actually, a friend of mine. He's also a son of a friend of mine, and he was looking to make a trade on an item, and he had a Diamondback Arms AR-15 pistol, and it was actually kind of a nifty little item, you know. But there, I think those like 7.5 inch AR-15 pistols are kind of useless, you know. Uh, I mean, it was a good looking deal. Um, it it was Cerakoted flat dark earth. It had like an aggressive muzzle brake on it. It had a nice like a the foregrip, or not foregrip, but the what the hell's that thing called? The barrel thing that goes up.
The barrel thingy that goes, the shoulder thingy that goes up.
Well, like the
You're talking the foregrip.
rail. Yeah, no, like the rail.
Okay.
Whatever that little rail is called.
You're
Like
talking a barrel shroud. The
Yeah,
evil
barrel shroud.
evil barrel shroud.
Yeah, the barrel shroud. And that thing like has an MSRP of like 950. And so we were looking through the show and looking for trades, and we came across something that's kind of interesting and not really. I've not seen many of them myself, but it was a Smith and Wesson M&P AR-15, but it was the Magpul edition one. And
Okay.
by Magpul, it had all the newest Magpul MOE furniture on it, but the lower receiver was roll marked with Magpul. It was
Oh wow, so that's actually something different.
it is, and it's got a standard front sight gas block, with the common orientation, but it comes with a standard with the Magpul flip up rear sight, and it's all. I mean, it was very nice. So he made a straight across trade for that, which was pretty nice because he got something he wanted and kind of unloaded something that was useless to him. So
Right.
that was pretty good, except for I will say that the guy he traded, I kind of like talked with him, but then when you're doing, I don't want to be like, accused of being in any kind of like, straw sale or, something nefarious. So, I like looked at him, I compared him, I told him, like what he had, and, kind of like gave him like, rough estimates of what I thought of value. And turns out I was actually like within like less than 10%. So I was kind of like happy about that. But I walked away, and I meant to tell him, make sure, you just keep your mag. He can have his mag, you keep your mag.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting a pro mag for a Ruger Mini 14, and
Oh no.
he ended up giving up a Pro Mag fourth generation, brand new one straight out of the bag. And I was like,
Yeah.
ah.
That's no bueno.
So I mean, it's like he got the majority of the deal, like on a pretty good sale or a pretty good even exchange, but man, you gotta keep an eyeball out. Some of these guys are shysters.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's anytime you're going to one of those things, you're gonna run into quite a few people who don't necessarily have the best intentions in mind.
Right. So
So
other,
we actually have a gun show coming up in my local area. I dropped a link to it, so anybody who's in the Western Virginia or Eastern West Virginia region, there will be a gun show at the Augusta sporting complex and convention center, which is otherwise just known as the the Augusta Convention Center. It's the 30th anniversary of the Western Virginia Sports Show.
The building next to City Hall. How big is this show supposed to be?
Well, this is actually, they say probably about 30 different just straight private vendors, but they're going to have quite a few more on companies and things like that. The interesting thing is this one happens from on the annual basis, but they usually have somebody who comes out like the Duck Dynasty guys come out there.
Ooh, celebrities.
Yeah, so this year, what they're looking at is two folks from History Channel's Swamp People television show, and Michael Waddle, he's a Realtree, hunter who is sponsored by them, and then as well as dude from Turkey Thugs, and then Red Arrow, Kip Campbell.
Oh, so like seriously, I don't have a TV and I've never watched any of these hunting shows. Did you just say Turkey Thugs?
Yeah, that's
actually, is that a brand or is that a TV show?
That's both. That's actually a brand of ammunition.
Turkey Thugs. Oh, that is so funny. Yeah. So Turkey Thugs. All right, I'm calling it now. High Point is coming out with a bolt action rifle.
There you go. Yeah, it's
shout out to all my High Point fans in the audience. You know who you people are. I won't embarrass you by calling you out.
Yeah. Well, Mossy Oak has a Turkey Thug line, and then
I have never even heard.
There's also a show on Pursuit Channel. So
I don't even know what Pursuit Channel is.
It's like one of the only.
I am woefully out of the loop.
Yeah, you're okay. Well, speaking of that, because they will have taxidermied items there. There'll be some judging on some
taxidermy.
Yeah, I actually did a little bit of that myself this weekend. Went and took the 8-point deer.
You did other than taxidermy. Taxidermy is like harvesting like guts and like putting the fur around like a form.
Yeah, that's not what I did. Definitely not. And the style of taxidermy that I do is basically in the style of the European tradition, which is to remove all flesh and only leave the bone behind. So being able to take off the tendons, ligaments, and any of the meat, you leave behind a museum quality skull, and that's what I did. So I have an 8-point that is sitting in about 40, I guess it's 40 volume hydrogen peroxide. And it'll also get a little batch of 40 volume cream, and yeah, it'll be done probably within the next couple days. I'll mount it to a.
Watch your ass buying those chemicals, man. They're gonna think you're like trying to cook meth or something.
Well, then, if that's the case, every woman that has a Sally Beauty Supply, membership card is suspect.
Like you said it, not me, dude.
Yeah. So and that's one of the few things that a lot of people don't know is that Sally Beauty Supply is in every hometown in America, and for folks who don't want to shell out the cash to spend like $700 or $800 on a white-tailed deer mount, you can honor your game by doing the same thing with just taking all the skin off and putting it on a wood plaque yourself. It's kind of popular in places like Texas, but like I said, having done this since I was in Germany, it's just what I'm used to doing, and I can't justify really going and paying for that unless I shoot like a 14-point whitetail.
No, I like the way that you do it. I mean, I've seen your work, and it's got that like that number one, like kind of like that old school quality to it, like that old world quality. But right. Number two, it's like the most efficient way to do it, really.
Yeah, certainly, and it helps the sooner that you do it after taking the animal. Don't be like me and set it in a pot of water outside, and thinking that the cold water maceration method will do the job, especially when you're in the front side of a snowstorm. Because 2 days later, I took it out, and it was the ice block, but completely encased in ice.
Yeah, I think the best way to do it is to bury it in an ant anthill and let the ants chaw it. Something foolish.
Yeah. See, I don't have ants where I'm at,
Well,
unfortunately.
you quit bragging.
So yeah, I just do it this way. It's easier for me.
Yeah.
It takes quite a bit of time if you're trying to do it with ants, and not very many people have domestic beetles to do that inside of a box. Um, but
I
yeah,
don't. To be honest with you, I don't keep no beetles around.
yeah, I wouldn't do it either. So
I'm beetle free at the moment.
so I've got another good story that kind of goes back to our opening monologue. As I was in the process of tweaking whatever back muscle that made me cry like a little girl, I decided to send in a a barrel that I had received from a company out in North Carolina. It's called Bear Creek Arsenal. This was a purchase that I made through Classic Firearms about 2 years ago while I was still stationed in South Korea, and just finally got around to putting together the upper about a week and a half ago. Noticed upon completing it and finishing the build that as I chambered rounds, the rounds themselves were not seating properly inside the chamber. So what I was thinking was that the headspace was off just ever so slightly, or that there was some kind of burr inside the chamber. Contacted the company. They were very quick to help me out. Didn't give me any problems whatsoever. Sent me the mailing documents so that way I can go ahead and return the barrel to them. They went ahead and test fired it. They couldn't determine if anything was wrong with it, even after I gave them the symptoms that I was having. But they went ahead and replaced the barrel free of charge, and got me something that's obviously brand new, and got it back to me within the same week. So my hat's off to Bear Creek Arsenal. If you guys ever get a chance to do something with them, good folks.
Bear Creek Arsenal. Where are they located out of?
So they're located in Sanford, North Carolina. And I went ahead and I dropped a link in chat there for anybody who's interested. But
Okay, so bearcreekarsenal.com. All right, give those people some business. That sounds
Definitely.
good. It's nice to hear that.
Yeah,
Nice
and like I
that.
said, this was something that I was expecting to have to disassemble the rifle after I had just completed it. And speaking with the warranty manager, he said, "No, absolutely not. Just send it to us. We'll do the work. We'll disassemble it. We'll go ahead and test fire it. We'll go ahead and get it reassembled and send it back to you." And they did. So definitely.
Southern hospitality from South Carolina. Those are good people down there.
Yeah, these guys are North Carolina, so yeah.
Or North Carolina. Those people are okay too.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. You take a look at their current sale board, and lo and behold, bolt carrier groups for $70.
I think there's a bolt
Can't
carrier
beat that.
I think there's a bolt carrier group war going on because the last time I looked at them, they were about $85, and prior to that, they were always like about $99.
Oh yeah, certainly. And I got a mailer from Palmetto State Armory the other day. One of their full auto bolt carrier
for $49 here fairly soon.
Well, I mean they were $85, so seeing it for $70, that's a pretty good deal.
Well, that kind of goes along with seeing the prices of the used AR-15s, and the new AR-15. So I mean, if the new AR-15s are dropping in price, that means there's probably like the manufacturers have a glut of product that they're sitting on. So it's just business. If you sit on inventory, you don't make any money on it. You pay for your inventory at that point. So it's best to cut your losses, somewhat.
Yeah, it's basically living there rent free. That's what you don't want your inventory to do.
Exactly. Hey, so earlier tonight, we were listening to, or I was listening to the show that's on prior to this, the Alan Odinson and the Barbarian Lounge, and an interesting question came up in chat, and it ended up going with the use of firearms in rap music, and I think it was like not just glorified in rap music, but I think there was like a specific marketing of firearms throughout all media, and but I think that's not just a nefarious thing. I think that was also part of like a marketing strategy, and like the subject of the Glock came up, and the Glock is ubiquitous. I mean, it's the Glock now has the same status as the 1911 or John Wayne six shooter or something like that.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, in the modern vernacular, if you think of if you just say the word gun, the most common mental perception people have is the silhouette of a Glock.
Right, and to the point of where any gun is a Glock, and
Well, just like it used to be for rifles, any assault rifle was an AK-47.
right, and more recently they were all AR-15s.
Right.
But Glock has that special place because it used to be the 1911 was America's gun, and I would dare say that Glocks are America's gun at this point. I mean, they're the gold standard by which every other polymer pistol that comes out is striker fired polymer pistol, or even if it's not striker fired, if it's hammer fired, it is compared to a Glock. And it got into the original marketing of the Glock, and how Glock really changed not only the pistol game with its product, but the way the pistol was marketed and put into the public's eye and put into the public's hand. And
Yeah, right.
it's kind of fascinating because I mean, outside the story of the pistol, which the story of the pistol by itself is the actual firearm is fairly amazing. I mean, Gaston Glock, he made office furniture. He had two military contracts before that, and I think he made canteens, and he made a field knife, like an entrenching knife. It wasn't even a bayonet. It was just like a great big like Rambo knife kind of a thing. But I mean, they're good quality. It's a solid tang and or a full tang, and it's that same kind of polymer that they use to make the pistols. And he went after the Austrian army contract and basically designed the Glock from the ground up. He didn't really have any kind of like firearms experience. I mean, the Glock 17 was named such because it was his 17th patent.
Right. Not that it held 17 rounds.
No, not that. That's just a convenient coincidence right there.
Yeah, because you've had an interaction with somebody who was talking about that.
I've had that, and I've always thought that that just sounds good. We'll go with that. Give me a Glock. Give me a Glock 36.
I want a Glock 57.
But
Yeah.
I mean, just in the marketing of how Gaston Glock, arranged his market. I mean, he was the first firearms manufacturer to use like knockout girls as like his salesman. He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't use fat old dudes with beards and potbellies who knew firearms. He got knockouts, and you have a tendency to sign on a dotted line when you got a former Playboy playmate trying to sell you the brand new pistol that actually works.
Can't go figure.
Right.
And by that token, him and his arms should be hooking up the Aeromosas, the Air Mexico, the stewardesses.
the Coors Light girls.
Oh, but you know what would be better? I would probably buy from any company that goes and gets the Fanta girls to hawk their stuff. That would do it.
Fanta is Nazi cola.
But it tastes so good when it touches your lips.
Right. I kind of like got a thing for the orange Fanta personally.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you know what the funny thing was? 10 years ago, it's hard to believe. 10 years ago, I was sitting in Iraq, and we had actually exhausted all of our marksmanship targets. We were completely out, and the only thing we had left to shoot was strawberry Fanta. And I'll tell you, nothing makes a better reactive target. Tannerite has nothing on strawberry Fanta when you hit it with an MP5.
Oh, no. Shooting soda cans is awesome, and colored soda is even better.
That's the greatest thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And it helps if you shake them up before you shoot them.
This required no shaking. We had taken out a case of.
All right, so you got to play with an MP5. Let's not talk about the soda. Let's talk about the MP5.
So it was a standard MP5. It was actually captured. during one of our operations against the
Okay, so
insurgents.
when you say a standard MP5, there's a bunch of different variants of them, and I'm not going to press you on the variant, but describe it. Did this one have a full stock? Did it have a folding stock? Because there's a couple different kinds that have a full fixed
Yeah,
stock.
so this one had a full stock.
There's a sliding stock. There's a couple different ones. There's the pistol version. So
Yeah, this was with a standard, non-folding stock, full length, and it was just
did it have a short barrel or did it have a long barrel on it?
it had a short barrel.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah, and like I said, you get a chance to go into the arms bazaars, which are prevalent in almost every city in Iraq, and yeah, this was actually something that it, I didn't ever think I would get a chance to shoot, namely because I didn't know anybody that had one, but being able to go out there and shoot it and just play around with it, it was actually pretty nice. I thought it was awesome being able to shoot the 9mm out of it, and because at that point all I had done for pistols in the army was the M9, so that was actually pretty fun.
Was this somebody else's, like another soldier's MP5, or was this something that you guys bought in that bazaar?
No, no, no. This is something that we had captured on a raid, and
Oh, okay.
part of what our job was to do was any time we had captured arms, we would have to catalog them and turn them back in. And of course, they're taken from the reports of the units that capture them, and we would go and collect them up and do the appropriate paperwork. Well, this one just so happened to not be on anybody's paperwork, and so we got to keep it at the arms room, and we got to go out there and shoot it. We just passed it on to the next unit, let them know, hey, look, this is not on the books anywhere. It can't go back to the States, but you guys can shoot the hell out of it while you're here.
That's kind of cool that you got like a camp toy.
Yeah, that's exactly what it turned. I mean, and speaking of camp toys, I mean, we actually ended up with a couple of dirt bikes that we took off of some low life Iraqis. So
Dude,
we had
dirt bikes and MP5s, dude. This is fun. All right, what else did you
I'll
guys
tell you.
score?
So there was also a CZ75 pistol that I had, and I kept that for the entire time that I was there. In addition to the M9 that I was having,
How did you like
to me.
the CZ75?
I thought it was an interesting pistol. The interesting thing about it is that as I was taking it down to do an initial cleaning, the slide dropped as I was, taking it apart, and it hit the ground, and it actually dented the slide. I had to pry the metal back in before it would accept, the slide rail would accept it going back on, and I just thought that was really odd.
That is kind of odd. That is wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of like almost lower quality.
Yeah, and that's what made me think. I was like, is this maybe a CZ75 that was made specifically for the import or export market? Because I was sitting there thinking, if these things do
Yeah,
this,
but if they make them for the import and export market, I mean that's where their bread and butter's at. It's not in military sales because military sales don't occur all the time. So it's civilian sales is where it's at. So you would think that they would make their gold for civilian sales.
yeah, you would think, right?
Huh.
That's
That's
very
pretty. That's
interesting.
pretty.
So yeah,
Well, how did it shoot after the bending incident?
once I got it back into form, it went fine. It had no issues. It just, like I said, it was concerning to me that just in the action of taking it apart, it may have dropped to the floor maybe 3 feet from table height down to the floor. And I thought, wow, if that happens like this, imagine what happens when you're throwing it down violently or something like that when you're out of ammo.
Right. Jesus. Yeah, when you're all pissed off, damn it, no more bullets. Uh,
Yep.
Let me ask you, how did you like the grip of that design versus the M9 Beretta?
Well, the funny thing is that the M9 Beretta is like it fits no one perfectly, but yet everyone can hold it somewhat comfortably. The
Right.
CZ75 pistol was really comfortable, and I felt that my hand molded to the grip very easily. So
Right,
I think
kind of like would you compare it to 1911?
no, because the 1911 is if you have that standard government profile, um, you'll know that that's actually can be kind of big for a lot of people. And the CZ75 that I had, I just thought it was really well designed. I thought it was kind of
Would you
more,
consider the grip to be slim?
yeah, a little bit more slim than necessarily than the 45. So
Would it
I
be
think that
slimmer
that
than the M9 Beretta?
I don't necessarily know that it would be slimmer. It just, like I said, it just felt different in my hands.
Because
And
I mean, there's a serious like fanboy cult behind like the CZ75s and like the golden CZ75 is the pre B models that are it's just a CZ75.
right,
No A, no B, no nothing like
yeah,
that.
and when you look at actually when you look at a CZ75, the Bravo model, outwardly that kind of has the same profile as the M9.
Very much so.
I
They're
mean,
all
I,
kind
I
of
think they're, I think they're pretty similar in appearance. I think that they're, I just think that, if you shoot one and you're familiar with it, the other one is probably going to operate the same. So I
well,
went ahead
pretty.
and dropped a picture into chat for anybody that's out there viewing. Get to take a look at that. That's a CZ75 Bravo.
Yeah, those are pretty nifty little thingies. Um, I don't know, man. I got a thing for the slim grip. I think like a Glock is as fat as I want to go, like a Glock 9 millimeter. That's as fat as I want to go anymore. The Beretta is just too big and chunky, and honestly, I mean it's an excellent pistol, but man, I'll tell you the thing, it's the design is old and outdated, but I mean it does the job. But yeah, it's a big old beast.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So, what else did I do? I actually did have, like I said before, we have a local mom and pop gun store that's closing, and they have put all their ammunition 20% off, ammo and accessories now. At first, it was just ammo. Now they actually have to move some inventory, so the accessories are being, slashed 20% off as well.
That's a
But I went
shame
ahead and
that the mom pop shop was going out of business.
yeah, it was kind of a shitty deal for them how it happened. Their leaseholder basically evicted them, said, "Hey, I'm going to sell, and you guys got to be out at the end of the month." So, one of the things that I went in there to look for was ammunition, and I came across the Gorilla ammunition that has the 110 grain uh, Hornady VMAX ammo, and
And that
got
this is
that
for the 300 blackout, right?
right for the 300 blackout. Um,
Why should we even think anything else? That is your round.
Well, and this is the thing. So, this is one of the questions I wanted to pose to you. Um, I do not have this rifle scoped yet. I have a couple of scopes that I'm considering putting on it. One of them being a Zeiss Conquest that I have currently mated to another 8 millimeter Mauser that I have in the safe. Um, I don't get to use that one as much. Granted, it's dialed in for that, but I can go ahead and check that out. What do you think about putting a Zeiss on an AR-15 and 300 blackout?
I think that is putting a $5,000 stereo on a $500 Honda.
Yeah, but it's gonna sound good.
Yeah, I know, but man, I'll tell you, I think you should leave the Zeiss on your nice rifle, and I think you should go get yourself something that's like $100 at a show, a hundred
Yeah.
bucks online. Something that's just maybe it's not mil spec, but it works. I'm not gonna say like NC Star or anything, but okay, like on the rifle my buddy got at the show, it had I can't remember the name, but it was yeah, it was made in China, but it was a nice oh geez, like 4x32 and like a 4 power scope, 32 objective lens, and it had like a little laser on the side, and lighted reticle, It had a no loss zero mount on it, and I'm sure that thing costs less than $100, maybe 150 at the most. Brand new. I
Right.
I don't have a problem putting something like that on that. I mean, it's going to work at the distance that you're going to use that rifle, and the money you save versus paying for something like a Zeiss, it, it's I think it's Zeiss on something like that because I mean, like, what's the range you're looking at on a 300 blackout? I mean, it's a 300 blackout. Number one, it's a slow bullet. I mean, comparatively, right? It's a bigger slow
Right.
bullet. It don't even like. Does it pass subsonic?
Yeah. So this is a supersonic round. It's 110 grains. You're probably going to be
Well, okay,
pushing
but like the standard 300 blackout, it's like what 126 range or something like that.
no 100 147 is usually what you'll find the
100,
full metal.
140.
Yeah, full metal
Okay,
jacket's
so
usually
100,
147 grains.
147. Does it break the sound barrier?
Yeah, certainly. You're going to get
Okay,
that
so like I know like
ballistic
out of a
crack.
I know like out of a 10-inch barrel, it doesn't break the sound barrier, and that's just because of the placement of the gas port. And that's why they prefer that. I guess that's the 10-inch barrel is the preferred build for like a suppressor. So I mean, realistically, the range you're looking at on that rifle is not even 100 yards.
No,
That you're
I think what you're looking at is probably 150 yards to 200 yards, and you're stretching it. At that point, if you're looking at a 200 yard zero, you're looking, you know, you've got some serious rise. If you're looking
well,
at if you're looking at
and if you're
the
looking at a 200-yard scope, at one that you'll be able to hit reliably at 200 yards, there's a plethora of choices out there that are significantly cheaper than a Zeiss.
well, if you're looking at either the 125 grain or the 147 grain, you're holding off. I think you've got a bullet drop basically 2.5 inches to 3 inches at either one of those. It's when you go suppressed and you start shooting the 208 or the 220 grain subsonic ammunition. Yeah, you reduce your effective distance considerably. We're talking 30-inch drop at 200 yards from a suppressed gun, whereas you've got a 2-inch drop or 2.5-inch drop from a supersonic round.
Right. Well, I mean, putting all that together, I can't see the wisdom in putting in, a scope that costs more than $150 on that thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, the problem is that I have the scope, so and if
Right,
I
but I
have
mean,
the scope and it's
you have the scope on something else, which you've already got that. I say go ahead and find something on sale, and and get it. I mean, don't rob Peter to pay Paul. You know what I mean?
and that's the thing, the other rifle that I have it on does have iron sights, so I don't feel badly about taking it off there because that rifle could still be used.
I release your inner consumer and buy the new one. Seriously.
Yeah, definitely need to do that. Although money seems to be in short supply whenever I need to go buy stuff.
Well, yeah, but shit happens, man.
Yeah, we're still
Well,
waiting
it's
on
your
our corporate sponsors to fix that problem.
right, right. Tonight we are sponsored by Miller Lite and lovely provided by the gas station up the road.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I am sponsored by cyclobenzaprine because I can't take any beer with it.
The lovely folks at Flexeril. Thank you, Big Pharma.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't think
So
that stuff actually does anything. It never did anything for me.
I took a nice little nap. Actually, ended up having to leave work today, so came home, took one of those, tried to lay down, and of the known side effects, I didn't notice it saying anything about like sensitivity in your extremities. I started feeling cold in like my hands and my feet, and it like my feet got really cold after using that. Pretty weird.
I probably wouldn't take that stuff anymore then.
Yeah, you know that's what a bed is for, right?
Right.
heavy warm
Right.
blankets in the middle of a 70-degree heat wave that we're having here at the end of February. And
Think about it. It's 80 degrees today. I'm fearful for the summer. I got to get out of here before the summer hits.
oh yeah, that's gonna be crazy. But that's one of those things that thanks to Puxatawny Phil, I was anticipating 6 more weeks of winter, and lo and behold, the marmot was wrong.
Yeah, well, like the North Korean Twitter predicted the downfall of the of rodent worship regarding like weather.
Yeah. Well, speaking of North Korea, the assassination, which is it's more and more clear every day, that occurred for the half brother of the current leader. Um, it was interesting that they have arrested some folks who claim to think that they have been on a candid camera type show.
You were on candid camera. Hello, Pyongyang.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I don't know, man. Honestly, like the whole from my perspective, the whole Kim Jong Un thing is a bunch of crap because honestly, like the United States built that monster. I mean, the West built that monster,
Yeah.
and
Well, we
and
definitely
now
know
the
that's for
monster's
sure.
kind of like the monster's kind of out of our control, and now honestly, it's China's monster. And I think we've had plenty of monsters on a leash throughout the world that like we just kind of like lost control of, and well, shit, somebody else had to deal with it. I think that situation is now we've been supplanted in that scenario by China. So
Go figure.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not necessarily fearful of North Korea. Um, I don't buy any of the media bullshit hype, fake news that's going on about anybody that's threatening the United States right now. I look until you put a goddamn aircraft carrier off my coast, you're not threatening the United States. You
Yeah.
can say whatever the fuck you want to say. You can be 6 months away from a goddamn nuclear missile for the last 26 fucking years, and you're still no threat to me. And seriously, like they've been 6 months away from a Iran been 6 months away from a nuke for 26 years. They make oil, right? Oil is like expensive and is like commensurate with the petrodollar and all that shit. Why didn't they just buy like a nuke from like some failed Soviet republic if they wanted one that bad?
The Kerblapistan.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, why didn't they buy like that one? Or,
Yeah,
or why did they get in on one of them South African nukes? The ones that went missing. No, I ain't. No, I don't buy
Yeah.
that bullshit, man. I don't
Oh
buy none
well.
of that. I don't buy none of that media bullshit. No,
Yeah,
it's
and
all fake news. And,
speaking
and the
of
reason
speaking
why
of
I watch CNN is because it's the most fake of all the fake news. It is like truly like enemy broadcasting. It's like enemy propaganda. You seriously? Yesterday I saw five Jews and Don Lemon arguing for like 45 minutes about the merits of anti-Semitism. Guess what? They all say it's
is it
bad.
bad? Is it bad?
It's bad, dude. It's bad. You know who did anti-Semitism? Hitler.
Yep.
He invented
Yep.
it.
Yep. Oh well. I was gonna say, and it's bad for the children, right?
Oh, it's horrible for the dude. They are saying bad things outside of like Jewish daycares and things.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because President Trump has taken a little bit of flack over the past week about his statement regarding Sweden, about how Sweden has become overrun with terrorists and with immigrants and some terrorists who are basically skirting the immigration laws of a very welcoming socialist European nation. To which he was really ridiculed by the mainstream press. Lo and behold, what happened last night in
Well,
Stockholm?
last night, the Swedish police bust out some Brugger and Tomei submachine guns and like fired into a crowd.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, there
Uh,
was riots. There's vehicles burnt. Windows broken. All kinds of arrests, injuries. Yeah, I mean that was an actual riot. I mean, look when the cops in Europe fire a gun. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
you fucked up. Something happened
yeah,
if a cop in Europe fires a gun.
Well, looking at the Hasidic news outlet known as Bloomberg, uh, some of the way that they actually describe it is very interesting. And the headline reads, "Riot in Stockholm suburb after drug suspect is arrested." Says nothing about a immigrant, but in the first sentence of the story, it says Swedish police on Tuesday were investigating a riot that broke out overnight in a predominantly immigrant suburb of Stockholm.
Well, it was
So
probably one of those natural Swedish guys who couldn't get out of the,
it couldn't buy
But
his dope elsewhere.
dude, he just turned to a life of showing crack in the ghettos of Sweden, dude.
Yeah. So because
Yeah.
when I think of Sweden, I think of ghettos.
Well, I mean, like, isn't that where they?
I think of their feminist policy, their decisions to forego plowing roadways in deference to plowing streets with sidewalks so that women could get their children to school in the morning first, while commerce and people with jobs have to wait and stand in line for the snowplow to get done. That's what I think of when I think of Sweden.
All right, you know what? To be honest with you, I don't necessarily think of Sweden. They're not something that's on my like. This
Well,
is what happened.
I'll tell you what.
Yay!
I think about them
I
because I
mean,
know it's a place that the army is never going to send me to. We're never going to get to go and invade Sweden. You know why? Because they have halfway decent looking women there. The army's not down with that. The army has no problem sending us to
you
Somalia.
invade where they have ugly people.
That's it. The army has no problem sending us to Somalia, Iraq, Afghanistan. You can go ahead and play out there all you want.
Yeah, yeah. I believe that's going to cause some consternation amongst our less beautiful viewers.
I'll tell you what, that's one thing to say it and hear it on the radio. It's another thing to actually be there and see it in person. Because I'll tell you what, they're never gonna ever send us to Ukraine. That's not gonna happen.
Some of them Latvian women are kind of like smoking hot, and like let's not even talk about like the Romanians.
Well, I'll tell you what, Latvians, according to my good Estonian friend, all have 6 toes. So go figure.
I heard that they have 10 toes. It's just 6 on the right and 4 on the left.
maybe. There you go. Well, Mike, we gotta hit some firearm safety.
All right. First rule of firearm safety is every firearm is loaded until you visually and physically inspect and ensure that it is not loaded. Rule number 2 is keep the weapon pointed in a safe direction at all times. Do not let the muzzle cover anything you do not wish or intend to destroy. Rule number 3 is know what's your target, know what's beyond your target. And fourth rule, most important rule, violated all kinds of 6 ways till Sunday, as our Hebrew Senator Chuck Schumer would say. Keep the booger hook off the bang switch until you are ready to discharge the weapon. And shit don't happen wrong. That's the way it works.
There you go. Well, I think of
take the last couple of minutes here to like just totally excoriate like the dual citizens like running this shit, because I've seen like a couple of these live stream protests on the YouTube, and I tell you what, mouthy Jews are going to be soon shown as mouthy Jews, and people like Sarah Silverman and Judd Apatow. I don't even know who the fuck Judd Apatow is. I just saw that he like threw some kind of tweet up, and I guess he's some kind of movie maker or something. Seth Rogen, all you motherfuckers out there like screaming about like overthrowing Trump, you are seditious motherfuckers, and the day of the rope approaches. Remember, your people have been kicked out of fucking 109 times. You've been thrown out of 84 fucking countries, and this is the fucking reason why. You are seditious, and the day of the fucking rope approaches. Watch your asses.
Yeah. The funny thing about Silverman is I firmly believe that going back to the Democratic primary, who did she excoriate for not supporting Hillary Clinton?
You people are being ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. She was saying that to the Bernie Sanders burn victim crowd, right?
Right, and in true merchant fashion, Bernie Sanders victims, yeah, no refund.
Yeah, there you go. So
You know,
the funny thing about the Clintons, uh, Chelsea Clinton has found her little
she
political
is the
voice
funny thing
lately.
about the Clintons. That
Yeah.
girl is Ursula.
So not only that, aside from the paternity issue, she recently posted a tweet in what was looked to be a direct assault on President Trump, talking about, or his administration talking about, the supposed Bowling Green massacre. And big shout out to our buddy Oddball for dropping this one. Apparently, Clinton had made this tweet saying, don't make up mass shootings, or don't make up shooting stories. And to which she received a reply back about, well, how did your mother land in Bosnia under sniper fire?
Yeah, but you have to say that who sent that tweet, because that was the vice fucking president.
Yeah, go figure.
Which, by the way, Mike Pence is going to fix the gay issue in the United States. He will turn the fruits into vegetables.
That's an
If
interesting way
you
to go
like
about
the
it.
cock, you get the shock.
Well, there you
Homo-sex
go.
medicine from Thomas Edison. That's what Mike Pence's plan is. So you people who, especially you people who are screaming about Trump and impeach him now, there's a large percentage of you that are gay. The way that the system works is, if you get rid of Trump, Pence is the man. Pence wants to electrocute you motherfuckers. That's just the way it is. So
How is that any different from the how is it any different from the folks over there in the desert countries that want to do the same thing?
I don't know. What is he? I think he's Sharia Protestant or something. I don't
Maybe.
know.
All I know is that he's not been able to achieve one single bout of that.
I don't think he's actually. I mean, I think that's, I say that as a joke, because I mean, there's that thing that he wants to, use electroshock therapy and gay conversions. I don't even think that's exactly what it is. I think that was one of the many proposals he, like, this is part of a package. What do people do? They just sign off on the package. He didn't look at the whole thing. I mean, shit, dude, straight up honest, I don't think Trump like vetted Pence at all before he looked at it. I think Trump like looked at a folder full of like headshots of, possible candidates. That's a good looking man. We'll get him. He's got nice hair.
Yeah.
No,
Oh
honestly,
well.
I think.
So I think this next week we're actually coming up on some decent weather. I'm actually hoping to get out to the Western Virginia sports show and hair care rodeo. I think that'll be an opportunity to maybe see what's out there. I'm thinking about going and picking up a couple of AR style scope mounts, because I've got this 300 blackout and the 223 wild that I have finally completed after a very, very long time. And I want to go ahead and see if I can get some range time. What about you?
I am getting ready to do the gun show this coming up weekend. Buddy of mine got 2 tables. I don't necessarily have a lot of stuff to sell, and I'm not actually looking to sell to make money. I got some stuff that I might take for trade. But I'm going to go and I'm going to give him a hand tomorrow. Probably clean about 10, 15 guns, and then start getting ready to do that show. And it's Friday and Saturday, and it will be at the lovely Robstown Convention Center in the Gulf Bend. If you are in the area and you wish to show up, and if you're at my table and you say booger hook and bang switch, and then like give me a wink, I will take $25 off of anything you buy.
There you go. All right. Sounds like we are out of time. Thanks,
All right,
thanks
everybody.
everybody in chat.
Nick, it was wonderful. I had a lot of fun tonight. Everybody, thanks a lot. Jules puts her life into this. Y'all, throw some shekels her way, please. Please. This is like so much fun, and she makes it all possible. Thank you very much, Jules. Everybody, stick around. Good radio. Have fun, guys.
What patriots do. Fight good, fight good, fight good, fight good, fight good, fight good, fight good. Before you wish you got it good. Fight good, fight good, fight good, fight good, fight good, fight good. Before you wish you got it good. Fight good, fight good, fight good, fight good, fight good, fight good. Before you wish you got it good.
This is JJ.